Hello, this is Mr. McMurray, and we're going to talk about the electrical currents and electrical labs with the resistors. A little late today, but that's okay. And hopefully, most people put it off to the last minute, so it'll still help everyone who needs it. The first one you have is the electric current lab. I think that one's pretty straightforward. If you play the video, it'll go through it, and then you just have some questions to answer off of that. So it's a fairly quick one. But let's go and spend more time on one of the resistor ones just because it's a little different than some we've done so far. Okay, we're going to do the parallel one. Just there we go. All right. Now, it gives a little definition of parallel resistors. Okay, these are light bulbs, but light bulbs have resistance in them because as the electricity flows through them, it is resisted by the materials of the light bulb. All right, but in our diagram here, we're going to show the parallel resistors. Okay, now if we went around here, technically we'd say R2 and R1 are in a series because they're connected directly to each other, and R2 and R3 could be considered that. But R1 compared to R3 would be in parallel. Okay, and there's a couple questions here. You just choose the correct option to go in the blank. All right, and so forth and so on down to here. Okay, now this one you have a simulation, so it's a little different. It's a video to watch. Okay, so first of all, you hit launch the simulation. All right, and it will eventually set itself up here. Okay, now a couple things. One, for the battery voltage, you will just click on it and it says down here at the bottom. So you can type that number in over here. Okay, and so to do voltage, you just click on it. If it is a resistor, if you click on it, it will tell you the resistance down here at the bottom, okay? And so you don't have to actually use one of the measures to do that. Now, just for the record, you have two choices up here in showing the current. You don't have to show the current if you don't want to, but conventional, originally they thought electricity was a positive charge, and so they show it coming from the positive end of the battery and going around to the negative end. However, we know it's actually a flow of electrons, and so technically the electrons are leaving the bottom or negative, usually the flat part of the battery, and coming around and coming back in the positive end or the one with the bump on it. So just for the record, that's just so you know the difference between that. Or you can just get rid of the current altogether and click don't show the current. That's up to you. All right, you have two measurements here, measurers, meters. You have a voltmeter. All right, to do the voltage, say across the battery, you would attach it to one side, and then you would attach it to the other side. Okay, and when you do that, then it will tell you the voltage. Now, if you're doing the voltage drop or the voltage change over a resistor, it would be the same general principles. You put it on one side of the resistor and the other side because you're comparing one side of something to something else, and it would say 120 volts. Okay, and so then you can just read it on the screen there. All right, the ammeter. Technically, if you're really measuring the current, you would separate this and connect one of it to this side and one up to this side, so it actually the current or the circuit actually runs through the ammeter. But since this is online, we are just going to stick it, for example, on top of this resistor, and it will tell you it's 1.2 amps. Okay, or if you stick it on the battery, then it will tell you 1.2 amps. If you stick it on one of the resistors that have an open switch, guess what? It's 0. Okay, so basically that's how you find the current. All right, the ammeter measures current, the voltmeter measures voltage. But the voltage key thing is you have to be on both sides of the component that you're measuring the voltage of, voltage drop, and current. You just put it on top of it, and it will tell you the voltage for that one. The voltage of for the current. Okay, the voltage, you just click on the battery and it'll tell you the voltage, and the resistance, you just click on the resistor and it will tell you that as well. All right. Other things down here, some of the charts, they basically have it set up where for the battery with one switch is closed. Well, if this is only one switch closed, make sure you fill in all these blanks with only this first switch closed up here. Okay, and you will just drag these different, they've given you the different possible answers. You can just drag them into the proper box. So say that was 120 volts, you would draw it. However, if I click on this over here, It is actually 120 volts, so that's good. All right, so it's 120-volt battery. I would drag that up there, and then I would continue to fill out the rest. Then if you submit the answer, I believe, at least the ones that I did, it will tell you something's not right. You may go look at something, so that's kind of nice. All right, then you close switches 1 and 2, and you fill out the chart, measuring those things again. And then finally, you close all 3 switches, okay? All right, then it will put your data down here in the bottom, all right, or maybe it has already done that. And then you will use that to answer a few more questions down here at the bottom. But I think that will get over most of the problems. If you have a question, please feel free to let me know, and have a great lab.